Now we have Soulcraft Bloomington with their first Crankie, the story of the fox and the dog. And this is the children's one.
Welcome everyone. This year, welcome everyone. This year our story is called The Fox and the Dog, a Scottish folktale. Not so long ago, there was a beautiful red fox, living in the hills and ravines of a lush forest, with giant tulip trees and sassafras, near a beautiful flowing river lined with geodes and clouds. This forest kept alive with deer and frogs, birds, squirrels, and skunks. At this moment in the story, the colorful leaves of autumn had all but fallen, covering the ground in crisp, crunchy leaves. The blinking fireflies of summer and wolf spiders had all tucked themselves into the loose forest soil. The monarchs had all begun their journey south to warmer weather, and you could sometimes hear the trills of the sandhill cranes as they followed. The moles and wolves had already begun to light their wood stoves in their underground beds. The fox had been out hunting this early winter day, but hadn't had much luck. He followed the river and was content, feeling a part of this lush forest, actually feeling at peace. I've never felt so at peace in all my life. What a beautiful place this is. He sits and stretches his legs. Even though he's a little hungry, he decided to lie down and listen to the water in the creek. Just as he began to fall asleep, he heard a sound in the distance. He is still with fear. He heard the hunters and their dogs from far, and the fox knew he needed to run back to his den. From now on, he would have to be more careful in the forest. That night, while he hid in his cozy den, he felt the freezing cold north winds begin to howl. The temperature was dropping. The next few days, he carefully went hunting in the cold, but had to retreat sooner to his den because of the snow and ice coming down each day. Many days passed, and his stomach was growling like it had never growled before. He couldn't sleep well, and the rumblings of his stomach were loud and clear. He knew he wouldn't make it to December like this, much less March. He thought and thought and thought, and thought of one thing to do, but it would be dangerous. But what chance did he have? The next evening, when the fox sniffed the change in the air, he saw the colors of the sky changing as the sun set, and heard the hooting of the barn owl and the beautiful trill of the little screech owl, and left him dead. The fox traveled through the forest, passing familiar tree friends and favorite homes. Hopping across the stones of the creek and up the steep ravines of the forest. After many hours of slow but careful travel with an empty pit in his stomach, he reached the edge of the forest where there was room. He had to be very careful of any cars with the bright lights because they wouldn't slow down for the fox. He crossed the road and stood on the edge of a great valley with field after field, and off in the distance he saw a small orange grove. The fox traveled through the fields, often sticking with the fence line, and although his friends and the deer were there, he knew he couldn't stop to talk. Occasionally he heard a familiar sound, and he knew to report it. But he was too hungry and desperate to stop. Finally, he saw the glow, the light coming through a window of an old familiar farmhouse. Sticking to the shadows, Fox began to move closer to the farm and house and barns, getting a little energy from the excitement. As he passed the house and window, he saw a farmer stirring a pot of soup and settling down for the evening. The farmer had fresh bread and soft butter, a warm drink, and some apple pie too. Fox then caught the scent of the delicious aroma wafting in the cold air and could hardly wait. What I wouldn't do for a taste of that. But no, I can't get distracted, and he carried on. He traveled always on the edge of the light, being careful not to be seen, as he knew how dangerous this bush was. Fox snuck into the barn and heard the familiar sounds. But I wouldn't do it for a taste of plump orange either. He tried to grab one, but they were too fast and he was too tired. They jumped and hissed and flew all about, screeched and scratched and created quite the ruckus. Fox was exhausted and let the chickens be. He was quite scratched up and disheveled now, but he crept to the next room of the barn where he saw a kennel and happily, loudly snoring dog.
The dog stirs only once the fox is right next to him and says, "Why, Cousin Fox, what brings you here?" The fox smiles weakly and says, "I don't come here often. You know, it's quite dangerous for me to come here. But times are tough, and I thought I had no choice. I've been hunted, and it's cold, and I'm so hungry. I was wondering if you could spare a morsel of food for an old friend." "Of course, I have some delicious spare food for you here in this shiny bowl. I couldn't nearly finish my food tonight," as he nudges the bowl to the fox. The fox started devouring the food right away as his stomach rumbled in appreciation until the bowl was shiny and he could see his own reflection in it. It was then his cousin dog says, "Fox, you need to change your ways. You are getting much too old for this running around, trying not to be hunted, catching chickens, always looking for food stuff. You need to get a job." "A job?" says the fox as he licks his lips in the empty bowl. "What's a job? What am I to do? I'm a fox. Those are the things I'm meant to do." "What do you mean, a job? Explain what a job involves." Cousin Dog says, "Yes, a job. I'll start with the best part. You get 2 meals a day of yummy food. It's wonderful. Well, you live in a warm and toasty barn like this with a personal kennel and lots of warm blankets." "Well, that is a mighty fine necklace you have there, and 2 meals a day sounds really nice right now. That bed also looks really warm and soft. What would I need to do for this job?" says the fox. "Oh, not much," says the dog. "It's mostly barking. You bark when you hear something wild approaching the farm. Sometimes you bark your own shadow, or sometimes you bark at nothing at all. The farmer thinks you're always working. You get to have a shiny necklace like this, and you get food 2 times a day." "That's amazing. Well, I'm great at barking. You mean to tell me that just for my barking, I can get a comfy bed, food twice a day, and a nice necklace with my name on it?" "That's it. Bark a lot, be good with the kids, and that's it. You get good food, a soft bed, and a fancy necklace. Get a job as a dog, like me." Fox thought about this for a while, thought about the bed, the food, and about how handsome he would look with a fancy collar like the dog. It was then that he noticed another shiny thing behind the dog. It was a chain attached to the collar. "Wait, what is that attached to the necklace, Cousin Dog?" Fox says. "Oh, that's my chain," says the dog. "Wait, are you telling me you're a prisoner?" No, of course not. I am treated very well. I get water at least once a day, and always get the most delicious pedigree food. I'm definitely not a prisoner, or servant. It's a job that I've got. Just a job," says Cousin Dog. Fox thought a lot about this. He thought again about the cozy warm bed, the easy food, and the barking. "Cousin Dog, I like those things you have. I do. But the thing I love most in life is my freedom. So I know the life of the dog is not for me. I thank you for the food and company you've shared with me tonight, but I must go now." And with a flick of his bushy tail, he was out of the barn and traveling again in the shadows and back through the fields, more quickly and with energy this time. He knew it would be the last time he would see his cousin, the dog. He hurried across the street and back into his forest home. It seemed he couldn't get there fast enough. The colors of the sunrise were just beginning to show as he stopped by the river again for a moment, took a sip of the cold, refreshing water. He breathed a sigh of relief and joy. It was good being back in the beautiful forest and with his wild friends again. Once the sun rose, he was back in his den sleeping soundly with a full belly, dreaming of the friends he would visit tomorrow and mice he would chase and catch. He was content. His cousin the dog would often stare at the moon, and when he would sometimes hear the growling, high-pitched yip and yap off far in the distance, and he would wonder what his wily cousin the fox was up to. The end. This simple and gorgeous tale captures the struggle between the need for wildness and freedom and the comforts of domesticity. It is a battle many of us feel internally, even if we are not always conscious of it. It comes from the old Scottish traveling communities, but is told around the world now.
I teach at Harmony School, and my name's Elaine. And we have at Harmony kind of a rotating every 3 years situation with an art year, a multicultural year, and a science like a science year. And this happened to be our art year, so last month was art month, and so each teacher paired with a local artist, and we focused on some sort of art project. And we have a big display right now over at Fountain Square Mall, if you had a chance to head over there too. Some of our art is still over there. But I got paired with Elizabeth, and she came and taught me, and about 80-ish, 5th to 6th grade up to high schoolers. about making crankies. So our kids, we spread a scroll down the hallway during pizza day a couple weeks ago, and just told the kids, just fill this thing up with messages and pictures of hope and love and peace. And there's a lot of chihuahuas through here. This was an unmonitored activity, so no telling what's gonna pop up here. I tried to look through it. I think it's all okay. But we let basically preschoolers up through seniors in high school loose on this scroll. But it's primarily the younger kids that got into it. So yeah, this rhino that we have housed ours in was made for a previous art year. We've been trying to figure out how many years ago. At least 10, maybe 12, 15 years ago, this rhino was made to promote a former art show. These were put around town. I don't know, some of you guys may remember seeing them. They were promoting the Harmony Art Show that year. And so we cut a couple holes in it and kind of made it a 20-year art collaboration. With the idea that we may make some future scrolls in future art years to add and change it out. So, yeah. I really don't know what it ends on. I know it's not as long as some of the others. You guys have some really incredible scrolls here today. Peace out. Here's a potato. Mr. Potato. And a cat potato. Some broccoli. It was clearly lunchtime. There was a pizza. Here came the chihuahuas. Once the chihuahuas started, they didn't stop. But all the kids in our group, they made individual smaller Crankies, and we had those over at the Fountain Square Mall display when we had our opening night on April 3rd on First Friday. But we sent those home with kids. We kind of worried about them sitting out at Fountain Square Mall for the month while the rest of the exhibit is still there. I think this is about where it was. There we are. It's now time for intermission. We'll have 10 minutes and we'll flash the lights at 5. So go to the bathroom, take a rest, stretch your legs, and come back for the rest of our cranky. We got a little sign here we're going to roll out. Ready? Intermission's done, and now it's me. I'm Elizabeth Blackwell, and this is Adventures in Space. And mine, feel free to read along aloud. With and
I get away? Woo! Ah! No. He's eating him. And they don't care. Freaked out. Oh no. The fish eat the stars? The universe is so huge. And scary. And beautiful. But is it really eat or be eaten? I think, yes, everyone must eat, but they shouldn't overconsume or devour. Each life form contributes to the lives of others in some way, at least hopefully once. So to eat and respect what is eaten? But what about the beings who devour? Those who devour should always fear those they aim to destroy, because beings will fight back, maybe not today or tomorrow, but someday, so they can live, so they can eat. Life is resilient. Ah! They're chopping him up. Friends. Then. Can I have Joel up here if he's up? Yeah, we're gonna get a Joel part 2. It's a surprise.
So this Crankie is based on an old song that goes back at least 500 years. There's a fresco in England that has parts of this song on it that is a 500-year-old fresco. Some people think this is about the story of Robin Hood. And one of the things about the Robin Hood story is that it was looking for, saw Robin Hood as someone who was fighting for justice. So it may or may not have to do with something like that. Who killed Cock Robin? Me, said the sparrow, with my little bow and arrow. 'Twas I who killed Cock Robin. And but who saw him die? Me said the fly with my teeny tiny eye, 'twas I who saw him die. Oh, but who caught his blood? Me said the fish with my little silvery dish, 'twas I who caught his blood. Oh, but who will make the shroud? Me said the beetle with my little thread and needle, 'twas I who made the shroud. Oh, but who will dig his grave? Me said the crow with my little spade and hoe, 'twas I who dig his grave. Oh, but who will be the clerk? Me said the linnet, I will be there in a minute. Oh, I will be the clerk. Oh, but who will be the parson? Me said the rook with my little tiny book. Oh, I will be the parson. Oh, but who will be chief mourner? Me said the dove, I mourn for my love. Oh, I will be chief mourner. Oh, but who will sing his song? Me said the swallow, just as loud as I can holler. Oh, I will sing his song. Oh, but who will bear the pall? Me said the wren, both the cock and the hen. Oh, we will bear the pall. Oh, but who will toll the bell? Me said the bull, because I can pull. Oh, I will toll the bell. Oh, 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 the birds of the air went a sighing and a sobbing when they heard the bell toll. Poor, poor, poor cock Robin.
our Crankie, the life of a lotus nut, a lotus seed is going to travel a river and through time. In this case, for 200 years. If needed, this kind of seed can remain dormant that long before sprouting. American lotus used to be one of the best staple wild foods here. Almost all parts of the plant are edible. Our inspiration to use the lotus nut as the main character of this Crankie came from many adventurous trips gathering the seeds and lotus roots, also called mud bananas, with Soulcraft kids and adult classes. At the very end, there will be a bonus feature.
7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal.
Once upon a time, there was a non-conforming sparrow who decided not to fly south for the winter. However, soon the weather started to turn so cold that he reluctantly started southward anyway. In a short time, ice began to form on his wings.
Why not done?
Very quickly, he fell to earth in a barnyard, almost frozen.
Weather.
A cow was passing by and ended up crapping right on the little sparrow. The sparrow thought it was the end, but then the manure warmed him and defrosted his wings. Warm and happy and able to breathe, he started to sing. Just then, a large cat came by, cleared away the manure, investigating the sounds.
Why not done?
He found the chirping sparrow and ate him promptly. Now, it may seem that there are no lessons here, but in fact, there are. There are 3. Everyone who shits on you is not necessarily your enemy. Number 2. Everyone who gets you out of shit is not necessarily your friend. And lastly, number 3. If you're warm and you're happy in a pile of shit, just keep your mouth shut.
Hi, my name is Laura, or Laura if it's easier. I'm a metal casting artist. I typically work in iron and bronze and all that stuff, but I got into crankies and learning about them through Elizabeth. We met during an internship. Yeah, so this is actually supposed to be a cast iron furnace, which is a blast furnace. So this is what you would see if you were melting iron. And bear with me, because this is my first cranky. But yeah, so when I was 21, I went to my first iron fork. So it was just really hot and overwhelming. So an iron pour is an event where an iron furnace melts iron for cast metal sculpture. But it's a place where, one, you learn about hot metal. You learn how to make some mistakes. And it's also a place for found family. So every cast iron artist is part of an ongoing family tree. So I started learning through cast iron through Margie Lee Beans, who teaches over in Boston, Massachusetts. So she was really the person who first taught me and got me going into iron. and also Jerry Massey. Now I'm 26 and I've gone to multiple iron pours and also ran some, and I've learned a lot throughout the process. All the way to the end.
Be sure to check out Sculpture Trails in Salisbury if you want to do some iron pour. And now we're going to invite everyone to come on stage, check out some crankies, and make a scroll.
Woo-hoo!